Okay, so we have the perfectly competitive firm, which is concerned with setting marginal revenue equal to marginal cost. The question again was, if that's determining how much the firm should produce, the profit maximizing quantity, but the firm has no control over the price. If the price is given to us by the market, the question is that price going to be enough for the firm to cover their costs? What we're going to have to do is look at this over two time frames, the long run and the short run. And for the short run, the question is, do we produce or do we shut down? Right? So it's a binary condition. Do we produce that amount or do we not produce anything at all? And then if we produce, what quantity will that be? Well, that one's going to be determined by the marginal revenue equaling the marginal cost. And in our case here, right, we're going to have to be looking at an additional curve, and that's going to be our cost curves, like the average total cost and the average variable cost. What that's going to mean for us is that one thing that's going to be relevant for us is the average total cost. At this point, this firm would be earning zero revenue. Now the question would be, how do I know that? Well, the marginal revenue times the quantity is equal to my total revenue, right? Because that would just be, because marginal revenue is the same as the price. So if I just take price times quantity, that would be my total revenue. The cost for the firm would be my ATC times my Q, right? If you look back at the last chapter, that's one possible way to determine total cost. Profit, which is total revenue minus total cost. In this case, this region right here, that box, would be both my total revenue as well as my total cost, meaning that the profit would be zero. This firm would be willing to produce as long as the price is, right, let's call it P star. As long as the price is P star, this firm will be willing to produce. Now, what if let's make it a little different here. What if it looks something like this? Well, if the picture looks something like this, first thing that we do is we find what quantity would it be, right? What would the quantity be? To do that, we find where marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. That would be this point right here, the marginal revenue equal to the marginal cost. So this firm should be producing Q star. Now the revenue would be that whole region. But now the cost. Would be at that Q, where does it touch the ETC? And that cost would be this box. You'll notice that this box is smaller than the larger box that we used to have, meaning that the total revenue exceeds the total cost, meaning that there'd be a positive profit. This firm would be earning a profit, so this firm would gladly continue to produce, and in fact they'll earn a profit in this kind of situation. Now, what about a situation where they earn a loss? How would that look? Well, it would look something like this. The ATC curve would be above the marginal revenue. Again, let's go through the steps. Set MR equal to MC. That tells me my quantity. This box right here would then be my total revenue. But now my total costs will be defined by this larger square, or rectangle, I guess. So now my total costs are greater than my total revenue, meaning that I'll have a negative profit. Now, it's not entirely clear, actually, what this firm should do, because total cost is not going to be enough information for us. A firm, just because it's earning a loss, might not necessarily exit the market that quickly. So what would they do? To understand what the firm would do, we have to look at one additional curve, and that's called the variable cost curve. What the firm would need to make sure that it's doing is that the firm always wants to charge a price. Excuse me 1 second while I sneeze.